Descript. If you need a great video, it's Descript. If you need a great audio, it's Descript. If you need a great video, it's Descript. If you need a great audio, it's Descript. If you need a great video, it's Descript. If you need a great audio, it's Descript. If you need a great video, it's Descript. If you need a great audio, it's Descript. If you need a great video, it's Descript. If you need a great audio, it's Descript. If you need a great video, it's Descript. If you need a great audio, it's Descript.
Hello, 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 and welcome, and happy final Tuesday of July this year.
Is it the final? Yeah,
yeah, it's final Tuesday. Final Tuesday of July, but not the summer. We still got a couple of months left in the summer if you count September. It's definitely hot over here. But welcome to the Descript Q&A, which we are here for every Tuesday at 11 a.m. Pacific time with members of the support team. I am Trevor. I'm a member of the support team.
And I'm Salvatore, a member of the support team.
And we have hanging out in the chat, providing links, some answers to questions, flagging questions for us. Alex, another member of the support team. Give us a shout, ask questions, tell us what you're working on in that chat where you see the Descript official channel posting things there. But that's who we are. But who is this for? Well, it's for anybody. Whether you are new to Descript, a seasoned veteran, or you are coming back after a hiatus, this is for you. This is for anybody. And our purpose here is to ask questions and answer them. I guess we could ask questions, but really, if you have a question, just post it in that chat where you're seeing everything, and we will answer it live. We'll do our best to show what the question is and what features you might be referring to. We can share our screen in just a moment. If you have a bug, however, we might recommend reaching out directly to the support team, which we'll get to in just a second here. But here are our list of other resources. We will be sending links to all of these places in that chat. So keep an eye out for links to our help center, which is where all of our guides live, our YouTube channel, which if you're watching this, you're on our YouTube channel already. We have community pages and groups like Reddit and Discord, and our official Facebook page. And if you like events like this, well, we have more that you can take a look at. To get in touch directly with support, if you open up your app, just press the question mark on the top right, and then press contact support, and you will be connected with one of us, as long as you just say, get me connected to an agent or a human, or demand to talk to a person. It's pretty easy to get connected to one of us, especially during our work hours. And with that, I think we already have a question here from Lisa is, hi, how do I add videos to words in the script back to back? When I try, it does not seem to work right.
Great question.
This might be related to how if you have multiple videos and then you want to add it, like I want to add one video and then I want to add another after that. And it's possible if you're adding it as another layer. That's how I'm interpreting this question. But you're more than welcome to clarify if that is not what this is. But why don't we share our screen here and demonstrate that, and we'll see if this helps answer the question.
Sure. Okay, let's get to my screen. Oh, yeah, there we go.
There we are.
All
okay,
right,
that is the question.
Okay, so you're working with multiple videos that you want to insert into the script. Perfect. I'm going to just start with a blank composition here. The easiest way I can think of is just making sure when you're dragging the video into the script editor here, that it's at the very end. So for example, let me see if I can grab
We might need something with actual
with
script.
Transcript. Yeah.
Yeah, transcript.
See. This shall do. Okay. So here is a blank composition, and we do have some recordings here from our rooms podcast that we did. So if I were to drag in my files directly into the project tab or upload them here via the plus sign, they should appear here. So when I'm dragging them onto the script, you'll see it sort of lay down the transcript of that video, and it should start transcribing if not. And if I want to add the next one back to back, I will just scroll down to the very end till I get to the end of the script here, and then I would just insert the next file right directly after that. There should be a blue line that appears, which indicates that you're adding it to the end. You can see that faint blue line, and then I'll just place that in there, and you'll see that it sort of continues on. If you want a more sort of visual way to do that, you could use a timeline as well. So let me undo that. If I zoom out a little bit, you can see this is the first file that I added. And if I were to add the second file, I could just bring that to the very end here, and then it'll just plop it right in there. So that's another method as well. So yeah, I would just recommend scrolling to the very end of the script before placing it in, or you could use the timeline as well to get a more linear view of the files.
Let us know if that doesn't answer your question. And if you have any more clarification there as well, be happy to continue to demonstrate that. Yeah. But if we don't have any, okay, you want to add videos in the words in the script. Okay, so you want to add it in between a word. So let's say you see, I guess that's the other next topic was what is the name of the show? And then there's, oh, that's a good plan. You want to insert it in between there. Is that what you're saying? Maybe we can wait until we get confirmation before going down the rabbit hole here.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's what maybe we're trying to do. And if we don't get clarification, maybe we do demonstrate.
Yeah.
I'm happy to just keep demonstrating different workflows. Yes, okay, let's try doing that. Let's insert it in between show and O. That's a good plan.
Show and O, okay. So let's do it right between here. Let me grab my video again. So I would just, okay, so it does, I think I need to add a line break first, maybe.
Yeah, you might need to add a line break there, and then you can insert it.
There we go. Yeah, so if you press enter on your keyboard, it'll add a line break, so it'll give you an empty spot to throw that file in, like so. So let me do that again. So
it's a bit hard to see your cursor here. Can you try and do this as slow as possible?
Yeah, let me see if I can make my cursor bigger too. Make it bright red. Let's see. Is that better? You see this?
I don't think it. Yeah, I can see it.
Okay.
Just so, yeah, so, let's just move it a little slow so we can see where you're dragging and dropping it in.
So this is, let's say I want to add the new file in between show and O, in between these words. So I would put my cursor at the end of that word and then press enter. So it creates this line break here. There's this blank section now. And then I'll grab the file that I want to insert from my project list. And then I'm going to drag it right into that section. You'll see where it sort of highlights that blank section in purple. If I were to do it here, it'll just highlight the script and it's going to add it to the scene. So I want to add it to this blank sort of line break. You'll see that it inserts it right there.
What if you insert it into the script? So if you undo that, let's keep your cursor in the space above again.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, right there. And if you press add file.
Add file. Oop. That would give me, I don't think you can see it, but there's
oh, no, we can't see it. So are you only sharing your Descript window?
Yeah. For the
okay. Because if you, I wonder if you click on your track from the files,
Mm-hmm. So let me
and then insert into script from there.
Insert into script. Yeah, that looks like that would do
Does
it.
that add it into the? Where did that add it into?
Whoa,
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
it moved. Went
It
to a
moved
different
compositions. Oh, interesting.
Mm-hmm. Although,
Oh yeah,
looks
no,
like
that worked.
Yeah,
That did
it did work.
Okay, but it just changed compositions.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we have another question here. I have a layout that I messed up on and wanted to delete it, but couldn't figure out how. So the question is, how do we delete a layout
Oh yeah, good
or a layout
question.
pack?
Let's get that up and running. So to get into the actual layout pack, if you want to delete an individual layout, we're going to go to your drive view. And then under the layout pack section, you would open up that specific layout pack. Oh no, I don't have any layouts. I cleaned it up.
Do you have any in private?
No.
Oh, that's fine. We can.
Let me switch over to mine actually. Salvatore Drive, layout packs. There we go. So yeah, I would open up that layout pack. If you want to delete the entire layout pack, you could just right click on that pack and then delete it. If it's just a specific layout, you'll want to go into that layout pack. And each individual layout will show up as a scene in your project. So for example, if I have two scenes here, this is one layout, this next one would be another layout, I would just delete that layout, or that scene, sorry, that I don't want. Let's see if there's a better layout pack actually. Nope.
You should be able to just delete the layout pack too.
Oh, okay. So I think this is one that we were working with, Claudine, if I'm not mistaken. Let's say this is a copy of your layout pack. So if I wanted to delete one, I would just click on the scene and just delete that specific layout. If you wanted to delete the entire pack, you could just delete it from the drive view under layout packs and just delete that layout pack. So I hope that clarifies a bit.
And you do have to publish it in order to like fully delete it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's another question from Lisa here. What I want to do is add images to the words. Example, in your script, it says, oh, that's a good plan. I want to add an image or a video to a placeholder. Then the word after that, I want to add another placeholder with a stock image or video.
Oh, okay. So it sounds like you already have a script and you're just wanting to add sort of B-roll images.
Gotcha.
Video.
Yeah, I think that's the question is so if you just have a recording and you want to add stock images and or B-roll images or videos to each word at different times.
That sounds like it. But please feel free to clarify.
But yes, please feel free to clarify if what we're demoing is not your question. But let's try answering this.
Let's see if
maybe we do like a quick recording.
Here's a rough AI script that I made, so this might help.
Yeah, we could use this.
So this is just audio right now, just an AI speech audio track.
Every chair starts with a question. Who's sitting in it? And for how long? A dining chair.
So if I wanted to add images or videos to specific parts of my script, I would recommend using scenes to do that. So let's say I want something specifically for every chair starts with a question. If I want an image or video there, I'm going to add a scene break or a scene marker for this section to break it up into its own scene. So I'm on my script, I'm just going to click / and you'll see it sort of divides this into its own scene. So now, whatever the video or image might be, I could drag it into this section of the script. You'll see it only highlights that portion of the script, and it'll only affect that part of the video. So let's go ahead and check that out now.
Every chair starts with a question. Who's sitting in it? And for how long? A dining chair and a lounge chair solve completely different problems. seat height, backrest angle.
So once that scene ends, the image also stops, and then I can continue adding the next image. So for this section, let's add a new image. I'm going to break it up into its own scene again. Sitting in a chair. Let's look for a chair image. And then same thing, I'm going to drag it over just that scene, and you should see it highlight those words that are associated with that scene specifically.
Yeah, let us know if there's more you want to see on this. Oh, there's a chair. But it's pretty easy to use scenes to control when frames are going to show up, and you don't have to use the timeline at all. You can just use the script track. Makes it a lot easier to do that. This is also something in Underlord that you can use if you just say like create segments, add B-roll to sections, create scenes for you. There's a lot of ways to like automate this for you as well.
Yes. And just as another sort of opposite example, you'll see that this whole thing is its own scene, and maybe I forgot to add a scene marker. So if I do throw an image in, it'll span this entire section, which might be what you're running into. So I would just recommend adding scene boundaries to only the sections you want to have.
And there are ways that you could just use like the timeline or the properties panel to control layers. So you can do it all in one scene, but I prefer not to do that just because it's so much easier to create scenes and have things break out. And also now on the script, you can see these thumbnails that show you what image is going to be in that scene, or what does the scene look like? What are the visuals of that scene? You know, oh, it's this chair. Now this next scene is this chair. And this next scene is someone talking. This next scene is someone sitting in a chair. Whatever your chair related video will be.
Yes. Scenes are love and life.
Scenes
are great.
Scenes are love and life.
I love that.
Cool. Let me see here. There's a question from Ian here. While editing my first recording where I'm sharing screen with a virtual guest, when I choose the multi-view edit, focus view on whoever's talking, it creates several spots where there were blank white frames for about 2 to 3 seconds. Is there a trick, or did I do something wrong in editing to create that? And it also sounded like Underlord fixed it after a few tries, but curious if there was something that you did. So based on this question, it sounds like there's a Rooms recording with a screen recording, and then you used automatic multicam to just switch it to who was talking. But there was a few spots that were just blank white. That's possible. There was there's a few things that this could be happening here. It's possible if you had audio on the screen recording that it was trying to match that, and then there was a placeholder. Depending on the layout that you applied, it could have tried to apply specific layers to placeholders, and some of those placeholders might have not mapped. The sequence, you could have files that are not the same length in your sequence. There's like a few things that this could be. This is something that I would probably reach out directly to support, because it's very project specific. Like if we try and do this, we could jump into a room and try and demo this, but I just don't know if we'd be able to reproduce it. Because it does sound unexpected, and there's just a few reasons why this could happen. Anything else you think I missed there?
No, I think, it's going to be easier to see if we could take a look at the specific project. But one thing that I would like to point out is, let's see if I can get to a regular version of this project. So this is a Rooms recording that we did. And if you do come in contact to a scene where it's just a blank frame, one thing that's worth looking into is if any of the layers were maybe accidentally hidden. So let's see if I could sort of fake this or recreate this.
You just hide a layer. And it's also, you said a white frame. So is the background, the background, or is it the placeholder, which looks like a white frame, but there's usually an icon in there? It sort of depends. And I know it sounds like you fix this. So if you do run into this again, this is something I would just say, reach out to support with the project link, and we'll be able to investigate and diagnose it pretty promptly.
Right. Yeah, would be happy to take a look. But to sort of see all of the layers in a specific scene, let's say we're on scene 8 now and it's just all blank. Maybe in your case it's white. If you head to this layers menu here, you can sort of see everything that's either hidden or shown. So you can try to unhide some of these layers to see which one you want,
Mm-hmm.
and which could be a quick fix for that specific scene. So that's a good place to check as well.
Awesome. But yeah, let us know if we can answer anything else on that. We'll head to the next question here, which is how about saving an animation made within Descript AI with audio? Can that be saved as a layout? I did so, but when I utilize it, it isn't going in as initially made. So this sounds like generating an animation. So you generated a video and it has audio in it, or you have additional audio and you want to save that as a layout. I guess to me, if it's just one file, one clip, I would save it to your media library, which you can add things from your project to a media library. If it's if you have an animation and then a separate audio track, then I would save that to a layout.
Yeah.
Do you agree there, or
I do, yeah. It's just a single file, like a video that you use with Generate Media. I would save that to your media library. That way you can pull it into all of your projects. But if it's something a little bit more complex, like if there's a background music track, maybe some text, you could save that as a whole layout.
Do you want to show how to add something to your media library? Like if you we could generate an animation real quick from and then we'll save that to the media library. Yeah.
Let's generation time. Generate visuals.
I don't know if you can hear that. I moved closer to an airport now, so there's planes sometimes going by.
Oh, really? No, I didn't hear anything. Okay, so let's do Gemini. Create an animated logo of a moving truck with the text "My Moving Podcast."
So we did get a follow-up that it is more than one layer. So let's save this to let's create a animation of a logo. Then let's add like sound effects or a sound. Let's add that to a new scene and save that. And then we'll add that to a new composition or a project.
Perfect. Okay.
We'll go through this whole demo. And then we got some more questions that we'll keep it rolling right after.
Beautiful. Okay.
Shout out Lizard Eats Flies, who also lives near an airport too.
I used to live near an airport.
I lived near the airport in Boston way back when.
Oh, that must have been busy.
It was fun. It was a great area.
Good old Logan. Okay, here we go. Let's check it out. Here's the animation.
Oh my moving podcast.
Wow, that's great.
It already has audio in it, but we'll add like music or something.
Okay, so if I were to, let's say, make an intro for this podcast, I'm just going to add a new scene at the very beginning. You could do it on the timeline, or you could do it on the script. Just make it on the script, so double. No. And then there we go. So blank scene. I'm going to throw this animation into that scene. Need to transcribe it. Okay.
You're going to transcribe it.
Transcribe it.
So it's what, about 5 seconds? Can we find a 5-second song?
Yeah.
Or we could generate one. We could generate a tune.
Let's generate a tune.
With our fairly new generate audio.
Perfect.
Can you do 5 seconds? You can do 15 seconds.
Let's see 50 seconds. Yeah. Generate a silly jingle about moving.
Do you want lyrics?
Podcast. I do, actually.
You have to okay. Yeah. Or you leave blank.
Yeah, let's leave it blank. Let's see what it spits out. I want it to be country.
Country? Okay, a country jingle.
Yep.
Here we go.
This is it. This is what dreams are made of.
Shout out Lizzie McGuire. This is what dreams are made of.
Got boxes stacked up to the ceiling high. Don't know my left from my right. We're moving on out with a laugh and a shout.
That's great. Let's go with that. Gonna add that in.
Totally the wrong scene. Totally the vibe.
It's exactly what we want. Okay, I'm just gonna snip that a little bit using S on my keyboard, so you can split a clip if it's too long, because I just want it to be for this intro.
To the ceiling high. Don't know my
Great. All right, so this looks pretty good. Let's say I want to reuse this for all of my projects. So I'm going to save this entire scene as a layout. I can do that by right-clicking on the scene and then save it as a new layout. I'll call this my intro scene.
Definitely a very bizarre chord arrangement there.
It's very, very weird. Let's create a new layout pack. Salvatore's layouts. Continue. Okay, let's create pack and save.
Cool.
All right, saving, beautiful. So let's say I'm in a new composition or a new project entirely, and I want to start with that intro scene. I would just apply that layout. So layout, my intro scene with music. Let's go ahead and choose it.
got boxes stacked up to the ceiling high. Don't know my
There we go.
Sort of cut off, but
Yeah, you can always extend it if needed. Maybe have it fade out using the fade tool here.
you can extend it when like I kind of like the idea of it keeps playing as you show up and you're just smiling and waiting for the like cutting
credit
into
music.
a new segment. They're like smiling and we're
Just like
back.
that.
Yeah.
And here we are. Welcome back.
Welcome back. All right. That seems good. Hopefully that answers your question there about applying this animation as a layout. Let's take the next one here from Janelle. If there was a recorded scene that had visual and audio, one is how to mute the specific scene audio, and two, can I add a layer to another audio script to that visual? So if you have a recorded, if you have visuals and audio, it's how do you mute that audio and then add a different audio to the script instead. So I think this is kind of about, maybe this is something to use detach audio and then how to add a different audio to there. I'm not sure exactly the specific work case or use case you have here, but a lot of the times when someone wants this, they have, let's say I record myself with a camera, I'm walking around, I'm talking, but I also have external audio recording that has just a higher quality audio recording, and I want to add that to the scene instead. So I would create a sequence by detaching audio from the original camera and then add the other audio into that sequence. I'm not sure if this is what you are trying to do or asking, but that's my kind of thinking, right? Anything you think I'm missing, or?
That's probably the most common use case, but I'm trying to think. I wonder if I could try to recreate something similar. So you can use layers is probably the easiest way that I can think of. So let's say for that specific scene, you just want to replace the video, but keep the audio. So let me see here. Let me get to the beginning here. Let's just start with this beginning part.
Hello and welcome to Life Tips with Descript Support, episode 1.
So let's say those visuals right now is just Trevor and I, and maybe I want to replace the visuals with like a B-roll footage or something else, maybe something I recorded outside of this. So I could break this up into its own scene. So I'm going to add a scene marker here, and then I would just add that visual as a layer, so I can upload the new visual that I want to use. So for this case, I'll just use stock media since I can easily grab that. And then what you'll see is it'll just add a layer on top of that. So the audio will stay the same and the visuals are going to be just hidden in the background. So now I have a new visual layer with the same audio.
Hello and welcome to Life Tips with Descript Support, episode 1.
So that would be probably the quickest way to do that. As far as keeping the visuals and replacing the audio, I think what Trevor mentioned is detaching audio would probably be the best way to do that.
Which we don't need to do because this is already a sequence. But actually, if you open up the sequence editor, we can show you how to do this because you can do it within the sequence editor.
Yeah, let's open up here. So I'm going to double click on my timeline. That'll open up the sequence editor. And you can see the multiple tracks that we have here. It's Trevor and I. And then you can add a new track or you can detach the audio from this. So I'm going to detach my video from my audio. So now you'll see there's 2 tracks now. It's my visual and then there's my audio track.
That fun.
Yes, it is.
So I could get rid of my video track entirely if I wanted and then replace it with maybe you have a different camera angle or a better high quality recording that you could upload here and just line it up, which would be completed by using add media. And then you could add new tracks to the sequence. So I think that'd be one way to accomplish that.
I'm just going through to make sure we didn't miss any questions here. Next one is, after using shortened word gaps, is it possible to revert only some of the cuts where the transition ended up sounding too abrupt? There definitely is. Do we want to run shortened word gaps and then demonstrate how to undo, how to restore some removed media?
Let's do it. New composition again. Gonna add just myself in. Okay, so let's say you run shorten word gaps. If you've never done that before, it's a great feature for sort of just cutting out dead space and gaps in your speech, in your recording. So under AI tools, we're gonna go to sounds good and then shorten word gaps. From here, you can sort of direct how long you want the gaps to be. So anything more than 2 seconds, that sounds pretty reasonable. I'm going to find all those word gaps. And then I want to shorten it to, let's do, 1 second sounds good. Okay, so shorten all. All right, and the quickest way I can think of to see where those gaps were shortened are by these edit points. Or in the timeline, you could also see those where those were cut and shortened. If you wanted to shorten one of them,
in the script.
The script, yep. If you right click on that, you can edit the word gap. So you can make it longer, shorter, set a manual, and let's just play back one of these and do an example.
Certainly am. Well, how are you? Certainly am.
Okay, so let's make that a little bit longer. I'm going to right click on that. Edit word gap. Let's do 3,000 milliseconds.
Well, how are you? Certainly am.
So there we go.
And if you even want to just restore all of it, there's a button to restore the complete cut from that drop down as well.
Yeah. Restore remove media.
So that'll just take out any, and this works not just for word gaps. This works for filler words. This works for manual cuts. This works for any other AI cut. If you have a cut in the script, if you cut a piece of media down, that restore removed media will just put back in whatever you took out. It's just an easy undo because you could always press Control Z or Command Z on a Mac, or you could go to your version history, but this is just an easier way to kind of put back in what was cut. It's no longer the days of when you cut some film, it's not on the editing room floor. It's still there and it's easy to restore back.
Yeah, nothing is really destructive in Descript, which is nice. It really is just referencing the source assets that you've uploaded or recorded in Descript. So everything's always going to be there.
Who here has edited with film before?
Luckily not.
Real film. No?
I think it'd be cool though.
It's a pain. All right, cool. So that's that question. Let's take a look at one from here. What if you record in rooms, but just want to snag an audio piece from something said and just lay that audio under music for, say, for an opening to a podcast or an episode? Yeah, this should be pretty easy to demonstrate using the duplicate or copy tool. What do you want to find a segment, like a 10-second thing that you say that we can create as like a pseudo intro?
Sure, yeah. Let's say, I think you had a pretty nice intro for this one. Let's get back to the beginning. Okay, so let's say this little soundbite of Trevor saying hello and welcome to Life Tips.
Hello and welcome to Life Tips with Descript support, episode 1.
And I'm just going to grab this section because maybe I want to reuse it. So I'm going to highlight that in the script. And really, it's just a matter of copy and pasting into a new project or new composition. So maybe I want to reuse it in a new project. So I'm just going to right click and copy. And then I can start a new project up here to the top right of my drive view. And then I can just paste that in. And you'll see that it grabs all of the media.
Hello and welcome to Life Tips with Descript support.
There we go. And then if I don't like the visuals for this, same thing as earlier, I could just drag the new visuals in as a layer and just layer it on top. Or maybe you have that intro animation that you want to use or some other visual. There we go.
Hello and welcome to Life Tips with Descript support. And then the same way to add that to other things as we demonstrated.
Mm-hmm.
If you haven't used layouts yet, layout packs, this is your daily reminder to get on board with that and get on board with scenes, and just it'll speed up your video editing workflows.
Scenes are love in life.
I do want to call this out because it seems like there was some chatter, and one of our team members, Liz, was on here mentioning this. So how to create an avatar in Descript. I tried, but it took my credits and kept saying, make sure all video and audio edits are complete, but it never created the avatar of me. So just a few things I want to call out. If at any point you run into a bug and it charges credits, please reach out to the support team so that we can comp you for the credits, because it should never be charging you credits for something that doesn't complete. We do our best to not charge credits unless something weird happens, and in those cases we're happy to be generous, and we're also happy to be generous about credits anyway. So reach out if something isn't working as you'd hope, and you might be surprised at the generosity from the support team. I hope you're not surprised, but I hope you can benefit from that. But we can show a quick demo on how to create an avatar. And what it's saying is make sure the visual and audio edits are complete. That's just because if you are still editing the audio, you'll have to regenerate the avatar again. So and it'll use double the credits or almost all the credits again. So just make sure that generating the avatar is the last thing you do after creating audio or working with your audio.
That is a good point. Yes. Let's go back to my chair script because I love it so much.
And we also have a question about the chair script as well.
Yeah, I think I saw that as well.
It's about like how to remove the black bars from the side.
From the sides? Yeah, great question. So
why don't we tackle that one first, and then we'll add the avatar.
Since this is looks like a portrait photo that I grabbed, and my video is in landscape, it's going to have black borders. If I wanted to fix that, you could manually drag the sides and resize it, or if you right click on that, or sorry, not right click, if you go to transform, you can go to position and then fill the scene.
Ooh, do you want to undo for a moment?
Yeah. Oh, I see where you're going.
You see where I'm going? Where am I going?
Edit with AI. Let's generatively fill.
Well, there's another thing is you could change the background to white as well.
Yeah, that would make it look nice too.
So if we just change it to Well, let's try that first because that's quicker.
There we
Perfect.
go.
Okay,
Ooh,
yeah. So now it's
seamless.
just a chair in a white void.
Chair in a white void.
But yeah, let's try and edit this with AI to see if we can do something cool.
And with AI. Yeah, this is a newerish feature. This is useful if you want to edit your images using AI. And I think, let's see, you can choose the
Nano banana
generation model, safe choice. So let me see.
Just make it landscape or something, or I don't know.
Make it landscape. Do I have to make a selection?
Maybe you have to, yeah, you have to drag it on the.
I see.
Nice. Let's see.
There we go.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Let's see how this works. Transparently, this is something I haven't played too much with.
Yeah, I've seen some cool stuff with it though.
Mm-hmm. I gotta say that like stack of rocks, the cairn there is probably one of the most used stock images, at the very least in these webinars.
Yeah, I wish we could reorder these.
I know, I wish we could too. Feature request, reorder that, reshuffle the images.
Yes, it's been years.
You can favorite. Oh, can you favorite things now, or is that a lie?
No, not yet.
Okay, the import complete. That didn't do it.
Oh, you did give it a nice background on. That's
it did
cool.
give it a nice background.
I want to say there was like a. Nope, never mind. Yeah, I might have to play with the prompt, but
yeah, I think there is a way.
Yeah, convert this into a landscape aspect ratio, for example. But yeah, if you wanted to just fill the screen with it, just clicking transform and then basically fill the scene. And then if you double click on the image, you can crop it and reposition it as well. Like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, great question.
Great question. Let's show how to create a quick avatar. We don't have to go through the generation portion because it can take eons.
Wow.
It just doesn't take that long, but yeah, it can when we are using a lot of the network bandwidth. But let's generate an avatar here.
Yeah,
use the fire hydrant.
Yeah, let's do it. Okay, so if you've never generated an avatar before, we want to make sure that there's a speaker label assigned to the speaker. Since this is an AI speech, I have Becky here chosen. So let's just listen to a little bit.
A dining chair and a lounge chair solve completely different problems.
Okay, so also one thing to point out is if there's any sections in your script where the audio hasn't generated correctly, that could be stopping you from generating an avatar. So if you have text to speech with like a warning sign next to it or like an error message, that'll prevent you from generating an avatar. So you'll just want to click on that and see what the issue is. In this case, everything looks good. I'm going to click on Becky, which is my speaker label, and then I'm going to assign an avatar to Becky. And from here, I can either upload an image, I could prompt an image, or you could choose one of our stock options. If I click on this back button, it'll give you our stock library of avatars. And we are looking for Hydro.
Our favorite.
Our favorite. So I'm going to go ahead and choose that and then assign avatar. And it'll give you a little preview of what that'll look like. And that's not it. The final step for actually generating the avatar, and like Trevor mentioned, we recommend saving this as the last step, because if you do make a change to the script, maybe you wanted to remove a word, that'll unsync the avatar with the audio and you'll have to regenerate it again. So once you're completely sure, let's go ahead and click this little blue button here on one of your scenes. It should say generate avatar. I think me resizing my cursor made things weird because I'm having trouble clicking on things.
Yeah.
Hold on.
If you click on the hydrant, you might be able to bring it up too. Generate in the toolbar. Oh.
Nope.
Well, we don't have to generate it because it's going to take a while.
Yeah.
But
think you can do it.
yeah, you can generate it from there, and it'll bring up it'll show you how many credits it'll use too, which is nice.
Mm-hmm. You choose between the two models, Kling or Kling Pro.
What's that emoji next to Becky?
This is
Avatar
a great
attitude
feature. Yeah, avatar attitude. So if you click into that, you could kind of direct how you want the avatar to appear and give it an attitude. So you could do friendly, professional, calm, excited, or you could prompt something a little bit more specific too, which is kind of neat.
Very cool.
Very nice. And
But
then
yeah,
you would click
we don't
generate.
need to generate unless you really want to, but just because it takes a while and locks us out of the project. And we got about 15 minutes left, so I want to make sure we can take on all the rest of the questions we have. We have another one from Ian here. My initial recordings will be hosting virtual podcasts with 1 to 3 virtual guests. Since I'm brand new, I need help with basic editing to clean up recording and create shorts. And they had a follow-up on the message is, what is my best resource for that? So pretty much just recording. If you're recording on Rooms, that can be done directly from Descript. You can record on Rooms, and then you want to clean up the recording. Do we want to bring up our Rooms recording again and kind of go through our classic? Why don't we bring up the one with Gabe in there, Purple Ocean, because this has another guest.
We thought we were done with this, but it's never done.
It's never done. No, I don't think. I think it's still in there because it's
should be.
I think it's in progress.
In progress. Okay.
Nope. It should be in the Ocean Descript support podcast. That's it.
That must be it.
Nope.
No.
Oh wait, no. This is it.
Was that it?
No. That's it.
Okay.
No.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. This is just us.
Never mind. I don't know where it is.
I'll go with this one. I think it's the Purple Ocean one.
Oh, we did it. Okay, we found it.
Okay.
Woo. Okay.
Awesome.
We found.
So this is. I'm gonna sort of recreate having it just finishing recording. So this is what your typical Rooms project will look like right after recording. You'll have your sequence automatically imported and created, and then you'll have just a basic layout of all the guests in your Rooms recording. And yeah, as far as cleaning up the script, the best thing that you could start with is probably just cleaning up the audio and any of the unwanted words, like, filler words, word gaps, stuff like that. So you could do that by going to AI tools, and you could use those tools individually, like remove filler words, remove retakes, shorten word gaps. You could also try edit for clarity, which kind of combines all of those features into one. So let's give that a try. I'm going to just run this one. You could set the intensity. I'm going to leave it at moderate. And the raw recording is 12 minutes long between the three of us. Let's go ahead and click submit and see what we get.
And after this, there's another thing we can show you about prompt templates from Underlord. That's a good way to clean this up. But that was fast.
Yeah, 85 edit suggestions. You could review these, manually approve or decline the edit. I'm just going to click done. And
this podcast, but we have 3 members of the support team where we have used a random.
All right, so that's looking good. Maybe I want it to sound good. Let's apply Studio Sound to all 3 of us, which will just clean up the audio, remove any noise in the background, kind of make things sound nice and professional. So I'm going to click on that as well. Let's give it a listen.
Welcome to, we don't have an official name for this podcast, but we have 3 members.
Very nice. Nice and clean. Here's the before without it.
Welcome to, we don't have an official name for this podcast.
Oh yeah, let's leave that on. Okay, so it's sounding good. The script is looking clean, and maybe the next thing you want to work on is visuals. So having it set like this is fine, but if you want to have a more dynamic video, maybe it changes between speakers, you can try automatic multicam. And this is a great feature. Basically, whenever someone speaks, it'll pan to their camera. So I'm going to go ahead and select that option. And you can choose between show on the active speaker or automatic. I'm going to leave it on show on the active speaker. Automatic shows like a split screen view occasionally, or it pans to like a reaction shot. But we'll just leave it as this one for now. Camera setup, you just want to make sure that the speaker labels correspond to the right video in the sequence. Looking good. Submit.
Once we're done with this, I do want to follow up on the question that Janelle was asking, because I think we have a little bit more clarification on it, and this will involve showing detach audio, which we can walk through how to do this. I'm thinking we show how to detach audio and then use a backup audio track just to show if you want to replace it.
Oh yeah, good call. Okay, so yeah, this looks like it's done, and you can see now we have quite a few scenes created, 100+ scenes, and whenever the speaker changes,
Discuss. Let's go.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like a mind virus to me. I've never seen a purple ocean. If I saw.
Beautiful. I forgot what this topic was about. Okay, so lastly, if you wanted to cut this up into clips, there are a bunch of options under AI tools as well that can automate this for you. You can use Create Clips, Create Highlight Reel, or you could ask Underlord, hey, find the best moments and turn them into vertical format clips. But yeah, hopefully that gets you a sort of a quick rundown of some things that you can do to quickly edit a Rooms recording.
It hopefully does, and it'll have those recommended ones on the AI tools because it detects that this was a Rooms recording. So honestly, just play with those 4 first. You might not need the show notes, so play with the 3 then, and see how that works.
Yeah.
Can we go to a new composition here, and let's just add a single track. And let's say that for some reason you don't like your audio and you have better audio. Again, this isn't the case. Like, don't do exactly what we're doing because the backup track is we don't need to use it. But let's say instead of a backup track, it was high quality audio. So let's detach the audio from your recording.
Let's do it. So I just
you got this part.
Yeah, no worries. This is just a single video file right now, but if I wanted to replace the audio, I could click on it in the timeline, and then by right-clicking, we can detach the audio, which will convert this into a sequence. And so now if you double-click into this clip, it'll show you the sequence editor where the audio and video have been split up. So now I have a separate video file and audio track. So let's say that this audio track was just poorly recorded, or maybe I had a high quality recording on me and I already knew I was going to replace this. I would just upload that recording or audio file, and then I would add that in as a track into the sequence. So I'm going to go to Add Media. And in this case, we're going to use a backup file since that's the only other alternative we have for this specific project. But you'll see that it adds a new track here with that new recording. And you'll want to line this up if it is kind of this scenario where maybe it's speech, so you can see it's slightly off. So I'm just going to let me try auto sync. That's a newer-ish feature. Yeah. Okay, I'm impatient, so I'm just gonna drag that over. Sometimes it's better to do it yourself. Okay, so now that I've lined that up and this is the new audio file that I want to use, I can just grab this initial one that I've detached, and you could either mute it or just remove it from the script track entirely by deleting that track. So now we have this new file in, and I can click done, and anything in my main timeline that I was editing should be left the same.
Let's go.
Didn't speak very much in this podcast today.
Yeah, well, there's 3 of us, so it's pretty much 1/3 of the video you'll be talking.
Okay,
it might be a little
that's how you would do it, yeah.
But yeah, that's the gist of it, and that's sort of what we need to do. We got one more question here that we'll answer, and then we'll call it for today. This is, I want to change my voice to sound better. I'm not happy with my recorded voice. So it sounds like you want to use regenerate for something, or you just want to re-record. Let's say you have this in there and now you hate the way it sounds. What would we do?
Ooh, so there's a couple of options. Maybe if you haven't tried Studio Sound, that could help improve the quality of your recording like we did earlier. But if you wanted to change your voice entirely, are we talking like replacing it with AI?
Maybe.
Or maybe there's just a word or phrase that you needed to fix. So let me bring up a quick example.
Do the same.
Yeah. It kind of feels.
Is it even real? I think they're.
Okay, I might have to do this with a single.
Same.
Okay, so yeah, like I suggested earlier, maybe trying Studio Sound that can help clean up a pretty bad recording, as long as it's still intelligible, at least your voice is. So if you go to AI tools, you can apply Studio Sound to your track, and that can remove any background noise and clean it up.
I would do the same.
But if you wanted to fix something that you said using regenerate, so maybe I didn't mean to say purple flower here.
Purple flower.
And I could highlight that word in my script and choose regenerate to replace it, basically without recording. And I'll just type in rose. Maybe that's what I meant to say. So we have two options for regenerate. You could regenerate just the audio or the audio and video, which is nice. It'll match the new word with your video. I'm just going to leave it on audio just for time's sake. No, need a longer selection. Purple rose.
I didn't know there was a minimum to do now.
Yeah. Interesting.
This is. Okay, there we go.
Weird. Okay.
Haven't got that one before. Oh, you might be. No.
That's definitely me.
Oh, you know what? It might be because this is a sequence, and it might not be mapped out with the backup.
Okay.
That could be an issue there.
Huh. Let me change it to my numero uno voice. I have made a couple voices, so there we go.
Marcelo,
so this is,
shout out Marcelo, says there's a TTS minimum, a text-to-speech minimum. I didn't think so, but we'll look into that after this.
Yeah.
Or purple rose. Anything, I feel.
So that's just replacing the audio. If I wanted to match the video and obviously make that look better, I would check regenerate video and audio. But that's how to quickly edit any words that you've recorded and without having to re-record it physically, which is a great feature.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I think that'll kind of wrap things up for this week. Any final words of wisdom from you for this week?
There's so many. Where do I start? Go forth and edit.
Go forth and edit. There's so many. Yeah, but thanks for joining us this week. We'll be back here, same time, same place, kind of, except it's a different YouTube link. But who knows? Maybe it'll be us. It could be other people. Might have more. But thank you for joining. Thank you for your questions. Have a great rest of the Tuesday, y'all. Have a good one.
Have a good one.
If you need a great video, it's Descript. If you need a great audio, it's Descript. If you need a great video, it's Descript. If you need a great audio, it's Descript. If you need a great video, it's Descript. If you need a great audio, it's Descript. If you need a great video, it's Descript. If you need a great audio, Descript. If you need a great video, it's Descript. If you need a great audio, it's Descript. If you need a great video, it's Descript. If you need a great audio, it's Descript. If you need a great